it was a good performance and a good result on Saturday against Aberystwyth County. The New Saints has a 7-point lead at the top of the table, a goal difference of plus 25. It's true to say that the momentum continues.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're right there, Rebs, in terms of it was a good performance. Watching the game back, actually, I thought we started quite slow in the game, but then I watched it back and thought that Haverfordwest did a good job in that first 15-20 minutes. They had really good shape, 5 at the back, 3 midfielders, 2 up top, and looked to hit us on the counter-attack, and they were hard to break down early on. So at first I thought we didn't play that well at the start, but watching it back I think they did a good job. I think the performance really helped by the goals that we scored and the times that we scored. Once we got the first one, we managed to get the second one quickly, which really set us up and then gave us the platform to then play our football towards the end of that first half or the later part of the first half. So I think that was pleasing, and then probably the other end of that was coming in at half time. We knew we'd done very well. We were 3-0 up, and it would have been easy for the players to take their foot off the pedal and not really push in the second half, but I don't think for any moment they did that. They showed a great mentality, a good attitude to be ruthless and clinical and get 3 more goals in the second half. So all in all, we were pleased, but knowing that with these games Saturday, Tuesday back to back, it's going to be another hard-fought one.
And it is a visit to Park Avenue tomorrow. JD Cymru Premier Matchday 13 against Aberystwyth Town. They're in the bottom 2. They've collected 1 point in 3 games. The New Saints, as is often the case, will go into that game as strong favourites. However, Aberystwyth, nothing to lose. They'll be up for the challenge.
Yeah, I think they are. I think everyone who plays us does definitely want to get up for the challenge and want to beat us, and understand why. Having said that, with the stats, I've seen Aber play twice this season, albeit earlier in the season. They lost to Connors Quay at Connors Quay, but did very well in that game and could have got something from the game. They also beat Newtown in the game that I saw as well. So I've actually seen them probably play their best football live, and as well as we've watched them recently. We haven't watched the game back from the weekend yet, but we'll be watching that one. And I think that was probably a good point for them in the end. Barry looked like they had a few chances at the end there in that game. So I think it'll be an interesting one. I think that, like you say, they are missing a couple of players for this weekend. There's a couple of suspensions and injury, and with our lone player Lewis Bradford not being able to play, I think that'll give them some. Sometimes that can work in your favour, because you go, do you know what, we've got nothing to lose, we can just go and play and relax and see what happens. So I think they always go to the end. Even in the game here we played, I think they're absolutely playing for the manager. I speak to Corbs regularly there with the player that we've got, Lewis Bradford, there. So I think they're doing a good job down there, and I think it'll be really interesting to see what they come up with on Tuesday.
And with a quick turnaround in games, how has that affected your preparations, specifically on the training pitch?
Yeah, well, I mean, today's training had to be monitored with certain players differently, because you've got a lot of tired legs there. We always look at the physical data after the games, and we put in a very big shift, both in terms of total distance run and high-speed running from the game. So that's important to take into consideration with team selection, changes that might need to be made, and also the way that you've trained. But I wouldn't use that as any excuse. The players love to play games. Would they rather a physically hard and demanding training session on the Tuesday, or would they rather a game? They would say they'd rather a game. So we're looking forward to the quick turnaround and playing tomorrow night.
And with the games so close together, will that have an effect, a bearing upon team selection? Yeah,
of course it will. I mean, there are players who are looking to get in that team. There's good performances. You've got players like Dineb, who come off the bench and scored on the weekend. Sis scored the week before coming off the bench. You've got Jordan Williams, who's high on the assist chart in the league so far and scored 3 goals, all ready to try and push to get in that starting lineup, and could have a case to be starting every week regardless. So really good competition for places at the moment. Gives us flexibility with the team and the team that we're going to pick. So be interesting to see what we do there.
And does having the midweek game and perhaps more regular midweek games help in terms of having such a good squad, and then being able to use players over the period of the games that are coming up?
Yeah, it can do. It's just hard to get that balance right, which ones you would maybe rest or which ones you would need to take out, depending on the form. Listen, the form of the team's been good in recent weeks. Even against Flint, we drew 1-1, but the performance was very good. And then obviously with a 5-0 win and a 6-0 win, it's difficult to make changes, but we do have the players there to make those changes, and I'm sure we'll make a few for tomorrow night.
And finally, as always, what's the availability?
Yeah, availability seems to be good at the moment. Players are back from suspension, which is good. Keston Davies is now available. and could feature. Apart from that, injury-wise, we're quite good. There's a couple of small niggles and ones that might not be available and ready to play, but apart from that, we're good to go.